And welcome back YouTube to another episode of From the Depths, the tutorial. So let's click it here and tactical control now. It is. No narrators? Okay, no narration. In this tutorial you will learn about tactical controls for your fleet. You will learn to setting movements and attack orders, as well as triggering automatic combat behaviors. Okay. Tactical controls are given in the fleet interface, which is accessed by pressing E. Tap this key now. Let's select our boat by clicking on it on the list on the left. Okay. Now let's put the vehicle into manual mode. So that we can issue orders. Flashing red button, okay. This is actually called patrol mode, not the manual mode, so...
You're in control.
Now that our boat is in the manual mode, we can give it orders. Once you begin giving an order, you will notice you can set the orientation of the order. For planes, you will also be able to set the altitude of the order. Actually, to what I remember, you do that by dragging the right click. Give an order using right click or right click and drag to set the rotation of the order. Yeah, if you click like this and you go like drag it, if it has a three-dimensional like an aircraft, it will increase its height of the order. So
Moving now.
Give it a chain of orders using shift plus right click. Okay.
Moving now.
Yay. Let's give it free.
Moving
Okay.
now.
We now know how to manually order our vehicle around. A vehicle can be ordered like this as long as it has an AM mainframe on it with a maneuver routine defined for it. Oh, okay. Let's turn the movement off now by pressing the flashing red button. Off.
Turning off.
We now know how to disable movement. Note that when you press the vehicle control keys, it will automatically disable the movement of the vehicle for a few seconds. Yeah. We will now spawn in 2 harmless enemy units to test out automatic combat behavior in targeting control. We will disable our boat AI weapon control for now. Our boat AI will pick which of the 2 targets to engage. The current target has a red box drawn on it. Yes. We can force our boat to engage target by left clicking on the target. We'll try that now. Left click on the enemy, left of the target.
Engaging now.
Okay. On the right of the target.
Engaging
Okay.
now.
AI mainframes can hold out many automatic combat behavior routines. The number they can have depends on the number of AI cards they have in their card slots. We have provided one on our boat. We provided one on our boat. Okay, this one on our boat. You don't need D there. So let's enable automatic mode now to turn on this behavior routine. Okay. Let's begin automatic combat behavior by clicking the flashing red button. Okay, auto.
Taking command.
Now our boat will now automatically engage the enemy vehicles, but we forgot to activate our boat's weapon. We will do that next. Let's turn the AI weapon control by pressing the flashing red button. Yay! Activate the guns. Shoot its weapon at the enemies. This is facilitated by the AI detection component. The AI local weapon controller blocks that control the weapons. Now do whatever you need to destroy those 2 enemies. It's already that. The fleet interface has lots of other options, many of which will be explained in the strategic controls tutorial. One final thing we need to look at there is the tactile option provided in the map. Use the mouse wheel or to scroll up until the map opens up, or simply press M and zoom in a bit. Zoom in a bit more. Scrolling out even further will bring up strategic map view. This is useful for grand fleet strategy in campaign, but we are focused on the tactical controls at the moment. Okay, let's see what it says. I have spawned one final enemy for you to destroy. The map tactical elements are very similar to those you just used. You should have no problems defeating this new enemy whilst in the tactical map. Well done, this tutorial is complete. Yeah, the guns were still on, so maybe disabling the guns before this part would be kind of a good idea. Just taking note. Okay, let's go. Return to the main menu. Yes. Learn to play. What's next? Tactical, strategic control. In this tutorial, we will learn the strategic controls of the game, how to make fleets, how to split them apart, how to set flagships, how to position the forces within the fleet, and how to give an order to a fleet. Many strategic control will be given in the fleet interface, pressing E. Yes. The first thing we do is combine all of these three forces in the same fleet. Select the Gamma forces. Let's put Gamma in the same fleet as Alpha by clicking flashing red button. Ah, okay. Let's click Beta and do the same. Yay! Now we have a fleet movement orders to Alpha fleet. We will start by selecting Alpha. Well done, the flagship is selected. Now put Alpha into fleet mode.
Returning to formation.
With the flagship selected, we can give an order with right click and drag, okay?
Moving now.
It's likely that Beta and Gamma are now moving with the flagship, but to make sure, let's put them into fleet mode. Select Beta. Alright, fleet mode as well.
Returning to formation.
And select Gamma. Fleet mode as well.
Returning to formation.
Yay. Let's click and drag to position Gamma relative to the fleet, okay?
Moving now.
Okay, then we understand that. Press the flashing to make Gamma the... Okay, that works just fine, yeah. Okay, now giving Gamma will affect the whole fleet. We'll now learn how to separate forces out of fleets, which can be done in a number of different ways. Separate Alpha, Beta and Gamma back into three individual fleets by selecting forces individually and pressing flashing red buttons. Yeah, that's how you do. Yeah, split fleet and merge fleets. About autoplay in in-play forces. Autoplay forces are enabling campaign and are essential to the campaign playing. In autoplay forces is abstract representation of your force, and you can still gather materials, refine, burn fuel, create munition, energy, and just like normal force. I actually went through a bit of a campaign. It does no longer create ammunition, and I'm not completely sure why. It could be a problem on my side, but I don't think it can create ammunition. Also, gathering materials. If you use steam engines on boat, if the ship is staying still, it will not consume any material. But I'm not completely sure how to set it up to collect material either, so yeah. Autoplay vehicles go where you tell them to go using the recorded top speed and recorded maximum altitude of the in-play vehicle. Yes, you can have hundreds of autoplay vehicles and still have smooth frame rate. This is why they exist. They allow epic large-scale strategy in campaign. Let's put all three vehicles out of play by pressing the flashing red button. Yay. Oh, we can also press here. With our vehicles out of play, we can order them to travel long distances in the map, not having to worry too much about them. With all the vehicles out of play, we can speed things up 10 times. 10 times! Yay! Very useful one. Anything else to say? Well done. This tutorial is... Really? That's all? I remember that fleet mode had a bit of an issue, because, like, you didn't wanna... I don't wanna personally control every single machine there is, but I wanted the ships to follow one another, so I would use fleet mode, and one would be and the flagship would be on the automatic, and that did not work. So just that one. I'm not really sure if that was fixed or changed or something. So no comment. Yeah, let's go to the next tutorial. Let's see. Return to menu. Yes. Learn to play. Tactical, strategic, compact engines. Really? This is the next one? Okay. This tutorial will show you how to place a compact working engine that burns fuel to create power. The aim of this engine is to maximize
We're going
power.
to do some building now. From the Depths uses a novel, keyboard-based building approach, but it also has the more familiar mouse-based building options as well. We always recommend using keyboard-based building, but you can tap F3 at any time to swap modes. We're going to swap you into keyboard-based building now and begin. The instructions will describe everything you need to do to become a master builder. If you cannot manage a step, please press Enter to have it auto-complete. Enter build mode by pressing B.
Okay, to create power. The aim of this engine is to maximize power output, but will have a lower fuel efficiency. A more fuel efficient engine will be covered in the next tutorial. Yeah, and then of course the starting something that we already heard at the start, the narration for the keyboard building. The most important piece, the fuel engine generator block starts nearly all engine builds, so it's not placed first. Without the engine, will not function. Enter build mode by pressing B. Okay.
Hold the vehicle still by pressing caps lock. Cycle a central mirror on by pressing Alt-N. Open the inventory by pressing E.
So apparently we're yet again
red tab.
getting this narration a bit.
Move the marker into position.
Let's get a bit closer.
Rotate the marker. Left click to place the block. Select the flashing red block. Move the marker into position. Open the inventory by pressing E. Move the marker into position. Left click to place the block. Open the inventory by pressing E.
Fuel injectors will cause a cylinder to provide 200 power output per fuel injector attached. They excel at power density, but are poor option for fuel efficiency. No shit, Sherlock there. Open the inventory, yeah. Injectors.
Select the flashing red block. Move the marker into position. Rotate the marker. The wrong block has been placed. We must remove it. Move the marker into position. Rotate the marker. The wrong block has been placed. We must remove it. Left click to remove the block. Move the marker into position.
Ah, really? They place it like this. This is how they want you to do it.
Left click to place the block. Move the marker into position. Move the marker into position.
Do take note, this one has two connections, one at the side and one at the back, right? At the bottom and the back, if you look at it like this. So it's actually a good idea to have like cylinder, one at the top, one at the side, and you connect one of these to both of them. So both of them benefit from that. And that's how you get like super high power engines to work. They're not very efficient.
Open the inventory by pressing E.
Cylinders will heat up when in use and will have a lower output as they get hotter. If they keep overheating, they won't provide power until they cool down. Exhausts are the main way to keep the cylinders cool and produce more power. Yeah, you also have to vent your exhaust out of the hull. So if it's an engine inside the hull, you kind of have to drag the exhaust all the way out of the hull. Or usually what people do is kind of drill a hole through the bottom of the ship and just have it vented there.
Select the flashing red block. Close the inventory by pressing E. Move the marker into position. Left click to place the block. Left click to place the block. Open the inventory by pressing E.
Radiators help to cool all cylinders on an engine at the cost of a small amount of fuel efficiency. Sometimes they can be a solution to an engine that just gets a little too hot to function. Yeah.
Select the flashing red tab. Select the flashing red block. Move the marker into position. Open the inventory by pressing E. Move
now we're gonna
the
put
marker
even more
into
injectors.
position. Move the marker into position. Move the marker into position. Open the inventory by pressing E.
And
Select
of
the
course,
flashing red block. Move the marker into position. Move the marker into position.
even more
The
heat.
wrong block has been placed. We must remove it.
Really?
Left click to remove the block. Move the marker into position. The wrong block has been placed. we must remove it. Move the marker into position. Close the inventory by pressing E. Left-click to place the block. Open the inventory by pressing
Okay,
E.
that was a bit funky. Guess these pipes are confusing the tutorial a bit. Yeah, so pin engines,
Select
more
the
radiators.
flashing red tab.
Pretty much more
Select the
radiators.
flashing red block. Move the marker into position. Move the marker
And
into
another one.
position. Left click to place
And
the
another
block.
one.
You're done. Leave build mode by pressing B.
Yeah, I'm not really sure if this amount of an exhaust is needed. But I mean, yeah, pretty much you need one exhaust per one injector. So yeah, this kind of makes sense. When it comes down to ejectors and radiators, I usually kind of tag them on top of everything, but yeah. So yeah, not really sure about this engine. Not really sure. So leave B. This compact fuel engine is now complete. Well done. With time and practice, you will find ways to get more power output in a smaller package with your engines. In the next tutorial, we'll build an efficient engine using carburetors. Carburetors allow the connection of turbochargers and superchargers. Turbochargers increase fuel efficiency of carburetors at higher RPMs, and superchargers increase efficiency at lower RPMs. Congratulations, this tutorial is complete. Yeah. The way I would use like a power... give me a second, I need to disable this. A power efficient engine is like placing it like this. Literally building a full base cylinder and then just placing injectors like right next to that. And for venting, up. Where are you? Here you are. And on the other side, like that. This is kind of the most, the smallest, as you can see, like 3x3 engine, and you can make them pretty long. I wouldn't recommend making them super long, because at some point the exhausts get clogged up and they cannot... I think there is like a 60-point gas connection before it stops functioning properly. But this kind of works. It's the most compact, high-power engine that you can make, in my opinion. And you can see it in the game. Some designs use this type, exactly this type, as well. Not fuel efficient at all. But yeah, every single cylinder has like one connection with the injector and one exhaust. And they are pretty much in this pattern. So yeah, this is like high-power engine. Would not recommend building it actually in the campaign. You're gonna run, this engine's gonna run you out of fuel really quickly. Also, why the hell does this thing have holes? It does not actually affect the material gatherer stuff thingy, to what I remember, so there is also no resource zone here, so this does not make sense. But, well, the tutorial is complete. Return to main menu. Learn to play compact engines. Okay, this efficient engines are down here. So, vertical launch missiles, let's go with that one. Oh, but okay. This tutorial will show you how to build a basic missile platform. To be more specific, we will be considering
Enter build mode by pressing B.
a vertical launch system for the missile. Missile systems are rather expensive and use a lot of ammo, but they're also amongst the most compact weapon systems and can be configured to vary to a variety of roles. Don't leave home without one in your fleet. AKA missiles are currently kinda overpowered. Well, kinda. Not really. I mean, yeah, sure. Yeah, they're overpowered. I'm gonna go with overpowered. Yeah, missiles. The reason why missiles are so good is because they have a really high hit rate. And because they're pretty much explosives, they do a lot of damage to the surface of the ship's vessels, etc., and they can pretty much destroy stuff rather quickly, and that's what they're useful for. And because you kind of have to build so that you have certain stuff like weaponry out of the ship, missiles have tendency to really quickly disable the enemy vessels up as well. So yeah, not really like, it's just the
Hold
best
the
weapon,
vehicle still
especially at the
by
start of the
pressing
game.
caps lock. Open the inventory by pressing
Yeah,
E.
caps lock and missile
Select
tap.
the flashing red tab. Select the flashing
And
red
controller.
block. Left click to place the block. Open the inventory by
And
pressing
connectors.
E. Left click to place the block. Open the inventory by pressing E.
The launch pads are the beginning of the actual missiles to be launched by the missile system. There are three sizes of the launch pads you can use, but for this tutorial we will use the medium launch pad, okay?
Select the flashing red block. Rotate the marker. Left click to place the block. Move the marker into position. Left click to place the block. Open the inventory by pressing E.
The missile gun should determine the length of your missile and can be as long as you wish. The longer your missile is, the more modules you can fit on it, but going too long will reduce your missile speed and turning potential. Alright.
Select the flashing red block. Move the marker into position. Left click to place the block. Move the marker into position. 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 Left click to place the block. Left click to place the block. Left click to place the block. Open the inventory by pressing E.
With the missile placed now, we will place ejectors to the launch pads. They aren't necessary, but they help the missile clear the gantry at a faster pace. They can also be configured to eject the missile at certain angles if you aren't using a hatch. Yeah, every single time, like you build missile systems inside the hull, and it just has the hatch on top, I would really recommend you using ejectors, because ejectors will actually push the missile out. If you don't push the missile out, then when the ship moves forward, the missile can get stuck and hit its own hull and blow up and cause you problems. So ejectors,
Select the flashing
not
red tab.
necessary,
Select the flashing
but
red
good to
block.
have.
Rotate the marker. Move the marker into position. Rotate the marker. Move the marker into position. Open the inventory by pressing E.
To identify the Identify Friend and Foe add-on, or EFF add-on, is essential for any offensive missile in a fleet-on-fleet combat. They will keep the missiles from locking onto friendly craft. You only need one per system, so don't forget it. Also take note that EFF is needed so that your own guns or your own defense system do not shoot that missile. I'm not kidding you, or at least they've done that in the past. I would have to actually check now. But to what I remember, friendly missiles, like if you would use a distraction, like radar target emitters or something, and it would not have a friend and foe identifier on it, then that friendly missiles would target that distraction. So yeah, it's kind of necessary on everything, not just on offensive missiles.
Select the flashing red block. Move the marker into position. Open the inventory by pressing E. You're done. Leave build mode by pressing B.
Stagger missile fire on, not needed, but you do have to understand that when the missile launch and they hit something, they explode, and that explosion can affect other missiles nearby. And if they hit all at the same time, they have a tendency of blowing up and sending missiles all over the place, and that's why you use the staggered fire add-on, just to provide each missile with a bit of a delay, so that all of them are not in the same place at the same time. Also, if a single missile explodes in the air, is being intercepted, it can also have the same effect. So yeah, stagger fire add-on helps with that. You have to set it up like here is 0.1 by default, but that's not usually good enough. Usually have to like 0.3, 0.4 usually works best for me. Of course, longer durations can be obtained. It also depends how the missiles are positioned. If you have one on one side of the craft, if you have another on the other side of the craft, and they're firing all in the direction of that, then this missile side will actually be getting there quicker than this missile side. So it kind of depends. Sometimes stagger fire can act against you, but in general purpose, better than not having one. Okay, the basic missile system construction is now complete. The missiles themselves will need to either use radar seekers, laser designator, or one-turn module in order to lock on the target. At such a large angle. You can always press Q on a launch pad or its gantry to bring the missile and adjust the modules. Check out some of pre-constructed missile systems to get better grasp of many different missile types you can make. Congratulations, this tutorial is complete. I actually expected a bit more out of this one. You know, actually showing you what various modules do and stuff, but guess that we will not get that. Slightly disappointed. Basics of resources. Okay, this is... You have come a long way to finally have your own fortress under your control. Feel free to make a moment to appreciate what has been built. It's not completely done, but we have it fully functioned by the end of this tutorial.
Enter build mode by pressing B.
Yeah. Okay, I kinda get it. You'll be moving around a lot on this fortress in build mode. You can always move fast in build mode by double tapping the direction key that you wish to move in. Keep the fortress afloat. To get started, sky fortresses turbines are required to keep the fortress in the air. If you lose all of them, or if they run out of power, the fortress will start crumbling apart. Let's place some more turbines to reduce odds of this happening. Enter build mode by pressing B. Fortresses in the game for the player don't really make sense. They do make sense like for the lore purposes and stuff to make the environment a bit more vibrant. But currently, everything that a fortress can do can be done by ships up as well, so I don't really see the point of building a fortress when you can simply build a ship.
Open the inventory by pressing E. Select the flashing red tab.
Also,
select the
why the hell
red
is this
block.
in the new blueprints mode? Sky
Move
Fortress
the
7.
marker into position. Move the marker into position. Move the marker into position.
Okay.
Left click to place the block. Open the inventory by pressing E.
Materials are what make the world go around in from the depths. They're useful to build your craft and also be processed into other resources such as ammo and fuel. Add some more storage to the fortress near the back.
Select the flashing red tab. Select the flashing red block. Close the inventory by pressing E. Move the marker into position. Move the marker into position. Left click to place the block. Open the inventory by pressing...
Considering how much material currently are in the game and how quickly you can stack material, using these very small material containers just doesn't make sense. Just does not make sense. Fortress are known for their static behavior and are best kept in resource zones to gather materials. Let's place down some material gatherers to make use of extra material storage we now have.
Select the flashing red
All
tab.
right.
Select the flashing red block. Close the inventory by pressing E. Rotate the marker. Left click to place the block. Rotate the marker. Rotate the marker. Move the marker into position. Move the marker into position. Open the inventory by pressing E.
Something that I noticed, material gathers 2 material per second when in resource zone with available material.
Select
but if you
the flashing
open
red tab.
here, it says 1 material per second, which is yeah. I mean, yeah, dev test, subject to change.
Block. Move the marker into
Subject
position.
to change.
Move the marker into position. Move the marker into position. Left click to place the block. Open the inventory by pressing E.
As I said, using these very small blocks here and stuff makes absolute no sense. At the moment, you collect so much material and you require so much fuel and stuff that, yeah, no. Refineries are used to convert materials to fuel. There are also extra modules which will make the refinery more efficient, but in doing so, it will produce fuel slower. Generally, it's wise to make efficient refineries to make the most use out of your materials. Yeah, that's kind of true. Currently, however, the fuel can be consumed so quickly that it's kind of hard to keep up. We'll be going over all the parts of the refinery in this tutorial. Let's start by placing the refinery itself first. Yeah, let's do that.
Select the flashing red block. Close the inventory by pressing E. Select the flashing red block. Move the marker into position. Move the marker into position. Open the inventory by pressing E. Move the marker into position. Select the flashing red block. Open the inventory by pressing E. Left click to place the block. Open the inventory by pressing E.
Oh,
Select the flashing red block.
I should
Move
be
the
reading
marker into position. Move the marker into position. Move the marker
things
into
written down
position. Left click to place the block. Open the inventory by pressing E.
What good are your cannon ships without ammo? Ammo barrels store ammo that is consumed by various weapons. You normally need a lot of it if you get on a large scope. Let's place more fuel ammo on this fortress. Okay. Yeah, but refineries, yeah, they have modules. You can place as many modules as you want onto a single refinery. You need to keep the dangerous gas buildup there. Currently 0 out of 750. Once it exceeds that, the whole thing just blows up. But yeah, various modules do various things. Just making it more and more efficient is usually a preferred option. More ammo.
Select the flashing red tab. Select the flashing red block. Move the marker into position.
Yeah, more ammo.
Left click.
We already learned this before,
Left
so
click to place the block. Move the marker into position. Open the inventory by pressing E.
Yeah, yet again, ammo regenerates at a very slow pace by itself. No, it does not. Not currently. At least not into the belt. But yeah, it did in the past. So, as I said, you know, subject to change. The tutorials here are, of course, I guess, a dev test behind. So, it most likely gonna get fixed. Yeah, a very slow pace by itself. Yeah, that's. But if you need ammo faster, you're gonna need ammo processors. These convert materials into ammo at a fairly quick rate. Let's place a few of these down now.
Select the flashing red block.
Currently,
Move the marker into position.
You absolutely
Left
need
click
the
place
ammo
block.
processors.
Left click to place the block. Left click to place the block. Open the inventory by pressing E.
Energy. Energy is this one type of resource that is stored in batteries, which can be recharged in various ways. You can also convert energy to power by using electrical engine. For now, let's just place a few more batteries for energy storage. Okay.
Select the flashing red block. Move the marker into position.
Also, I'm not really sure if this is gonna be in any other tutorial, but batteries are the only way to charge railguns.
Left click to place the block. Move the marker into position. Left click to place the block. Move the marker into position. Open the inventory by pressing E.
Radioisotope thermoelectric generating, basically known as RTG, is an expensive asset, but it constantly provides free energy and storage in batteries. Craft powered by RTGs and electric engines don't need fuel at all. Let's place a few. Yeah, RTGs are actually very useful for, guess what? The fortresses or any utility crafts. You don't need a lot of power on those, and
Select the flashing red
using
block.
RTGs
Move
is
the marker
a cheap
into position.
method of
Move the marker
not consuming
into
any
position.
materials,
Left click
fuel,
to
etc.
place the block. You're done. Leave build mode by pressing B.
Yay! Getting familiar with various resources is important for managing your fleets. Fortresses are a great place to resupply your fleet since they will commonly have plenty of material storage and easily find fuel without the dangers of refineries on the move. Yeah, one thing, refineries on the move, if the ship leans or gets damaged, they tend to blow up. Well, not, they tend to stop functioning, etc, etc. But yeah, the amount of material that the fortress will store is pretty much the same as a ship. It depends on how much storage units you put on it, etc, etc. So yeah, yet again, I don't see the sense of building fortresses. It kind of makes sense through the lore type and stuff, but as a player, building a fortress usually don't really benefit anything. Yeah. We have completed our construction of the fortress now. The next tutorial will begin our handling localized resources and transferring them between crafts and fleets. Yay! Congratulations, the tutorial is now complete. And we are now at 35 minutes, so this video stops right here. Oh, gee gosh. Oh well, guess we're gonna have to continue trudging through the tutorial in the next episode. And see ya!